Anyway, it's time now to bring in our good friend Jeff Van Gundy. He's our teammate. And Jeff, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing okay. I wouldn't expect you to sit here and critique Derek Fisher. That's not fair to you. But I just want to know, as somebody who has been in the arena and coached, can you tell if a team's failure is a coach's fault or a player's, or the fact that players aren't good enough?
Well, there's many reasons why you lose games in a period of time. The most important one is that teams in the middle of the pack are inherently inconsistent. The only truly consistent teams are the Spurs, the Warriors, the Thunder, Cleveland, and then the bottom feeders like Philly and the Lakers. Those are the only consistent teams in the NBA. The other ones are going to be up and down, and so you take, the natural inconsistency. You can have injuries playing a part. You can have a bad part of your schedule, and then you may have issues within a team at a certain point. So unless you're there every day, it's hard to know exactly what is causing the problem of losing in any particular time, but it's not new to the NBA that you go through, down periods. And I think certainly if you're Derek Fisher, you would point to the vast improvement this year over last year's record.
But the problem I always had with that, Jeff, is they won 17 games last year, but Carmelo Anthony missed 42 of them. And they also didn't exactly have the motivation to win games down the stretch because they had a pick. So was that really just a 17-win team?
As the great Bill Parcells says, the record, you are what your record says you are. And so, injuries, listen, the one thing I disagree with a lot of people is they always now, the new cliche is we're a no-excuse team, constantly no excuses. But there are reasons when you're bad. And so certainly if Carmelo Anthony misses half your games and he is made, what's he make, $20-some million, and you're replacing him with a $2 million player, why would you think the $2 million player is going to give you the same production as the $20 million player? So certainly injuries were a factor. I think they did a good job with their roster building. People, I think, underestimate the impact Lopez has had, and I think Aflalo's pretty good. Obviously, the draft choice of Porzingis has been terrific. Until that last period of that little stretch of games, I thought they had played very well. I thought they were very competitive, and I think they were vastly improved.
Jeff, the thing that worries me about the Knicks going forward, and Phil tries to talk around it, he is married hook, line, and sinker to the triangle, and he thinks that's the way to play basketball. 29 other teams don't. Is the triangle a viable thing that can work in the NBA if you don't have Jordan or Kobe?
Well, yeah, certainly it can work. I think the triangle, when it was run, I think the best the triangle was ever run was when Jordan, the first year that Jordan was out of basketball, going to baseball, and Pete Myers replaced him, and that Bull team won 55 games with Pippen, and I thought they executed with great speed and force, a commitment to unselfishness. So, yeah, it can work. Again, you need to have, when you're a coach, you need to teach what you know, and certainly people have played with the principles of the triangle for a long period of time, whether it's a commitment to the full triangle. And this is an offense that's been around for a long time. I mean, Sam Barry, way back in California, was the supposed inventor of it. Tex Winter ran it and then brought it to the NBA with Phil Jackson, and they ran it particularly well. But again, like a lot of things can work in the NBA. It's not one thing or another. I think the tenets of great ball movement, people movement, execution, screening, all those things they're far more important than like exactly what philosophy, but the basic tenets of good offensive basketball will never change and have never changed.
Now, Phil did say yesterday it's not paramount that the next coach knows the triangle or runs the triangle, but there is the possibility that he's only going to look at coaches that run that system. If that ends up being the case, Jeff, is he doing a disservice and maybe missing out on some better possible coaching candidates because he wants to run the triangle?
Well, I think the first thing that's most important to any organization is what the management, or Phil in this case, and the head coach see the game similarly. That doesn't mean they have to agree on every aspect or every decision, but the basic vision has to be the same. And so it depends on what he feels is most important, his priority list. And if it is, vastly important to him that be the style of play, then I think it's smart to hire someone that's already familiar with it and has taught it and has been successful with it. But again, I think there are a lot of people out there that can do a good job, but management and coach obviously need to see the game similarly for them to have the synergy to give their team the best possible chance to win.